Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Rustabout Collector here, back with another Micro Galaxy Squadron vehicle review. I love this line so much already. This is actually the second one I've gotten in hand, and this is the first one that I've actually found on store shelves. If you saw my YouTube short or my TikTok, you know I found this at Target. It was the only one on the shelves. There wasn't even like a tag for it on the shelf. And I actually had to travel kind of a ways away to actually find this. My local stores have not put any out yet. I was out of town and I found one. So I'm really excited to bring all of you a review of this new vehicle. And honestly, this is probably the one I am most excited to take a look at. This is, of course, Obi Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter, the Delta 7 version. And I believe that this is his version from the Clone Wars, not Attack of the Clones, because it has that center-mounted area for the astromech droid. His Attack of the Clones variant just had the head of an astromech on the wing, so it's very interesting. I can't really remember off the top of my head which variant this is, but either way, the Delta 7 is my favorite Jedi Starfighter style. It was actually one of the very first, or was actually the first vehicle I ever had in the 3 3/4 inch Star Wars sets. I had the Obi Wan Starfighter from 2003 or 2002. So this holds a lot of nostalgia for me. I love this style of fighter, and I'm really excited to have it in the Micro Galaxy Squadron scale. That's going to be kind of the $16 price point for this line. And of course, the artwork here is really cool. We have the side mural piece. On the back, you have a list of some of the other ships, as well as these cool holograms, and a little punch-out trading card. And on the front, I love the chrome lettering and the little chrome launch edition sticker up there at the top. But there's only so much you can tell about a thing when it's still in the packaging, so let's take a look at this out of the box. So here it is, all out of the packaging. You can see the hyperdrive ring there in the background. This is such a cool little set. I love that they include that hyperdrive ring. I love the little R4P17, and of course, I love Obi-Wan Kenobi. Getting a little closer look at these figures here, I absolutely love them. The sculpt work is amazing at this scale, and I'm actually even impressed with the paint apps. They're a bit simplified, of course. They're not going to be as detailed as maybe a 3 3/4 inch figure, but they are very detailed for a less than 1 inch scale minifigure here. And of course, there is some limited articulation here. The arms can go forward, and the legs can go into a seated position, allowing them to sit in the cockpit of whatever particular vehicle they come with. But you'll notice even the lightsaber hilt here on Obi-Wan is painted, and that is just stunning. I'm blown away by that. I would expect that to be something that they would just leave off, but no, they went the extra mile and put a lightsaber hilt on him. R4 is looking just as good here. I love that shade of dark red that he is painted in. They have the little eye and the cap painted in gray. And just like with R2, the sculpt work here is very, very impressive. I feel like if you wanted to go in with maybe a paint wash or something and really make that pop, you could. But either way, it's just so incredible what they can do with this scale of figure. Side by side here with Luke and R2 from the X-Wing set, they stack up very nicely. These are a really fun little line of characters. R2 and R4 basically have the same paint apps, just in different colors, but it's going to be really cool when we can do a whole lineup of characters from a single movie. I know we've already got clone troopers on the way and so many other great characters, so soon there'll be a little prequel lineup, and then we can do an original trilogy lineup. And these little minifigures with their little miniature ships are so perfect because you can fit basically a whole fleet or a whole squadron on your shelf, and it doesn't take up as much room as many other toy lines out there. And with that in mind, the Micro Galaxy Squadron series is such a great line for collectors on a budget, whether that's financial or space. I feel like there's a space budget, right? You can only have so many collectibles, so many big vehicles, and something like this, a micro scale with loads of detail representing all your favorite ships, is so cool, because you could have a shelf with a dozen or more of these and it's not going to be, crowding out any other collectibles. So you can represent the characters and the ships that you love without really maxing out your shelves with nothing but vehicles. So we talked figures, now let's talk the Delta 7 Jedi Starfighter itself. The sculpt work here is amazing. I mean, that is the real standout with this entire line. It's a micro-scaled vehicle and figures, but the sculpt work is just so good here. You can see all the different lines and panels going on here, and then it's washed with a paint wash that really brings them all out and just makes them pop. The paint apps are also really crisp with this dark red, dark brown, and green paint striping. Once again, I think that this is his Clone Wars appearance. I'm not as familiar with that paint pattern, so I can't really say, oh, it's 100% accurate, but it looks very cool, and you can't argue with the coolness factor. And once again, this ship comes with landing gear that you can actually just fold right in. It's sculpted so that it more seamlessly blends in with the underbelly of the ship. There's also a button right here that helps you pop up the little R4 unit or whatever droid is with the ship, because you could also swap this out with R2-D2 maybe if you wanted to, just for grins. But either way, it just saves your fingers from trying to wiggle them out on your own. And of course, the cockpit opens, allowing you to take out or put in the little Obi Wan Kenobi figure, and that interior is fully sculpted as well. It looks really nice. Now, of course, the Delta 7 Jedi Starfighter does not have a built-in hyperdrive. And so we see these in Attack of the Clones, and then we see an upgraded version in Revenge of the Sith, allowing these smaller starfighters to travel through hyperspace, and it's really cool that we get this here in the Micro Galaxy Squadron. Of course, it helps that I don't have it upside down, but either way, this is really nice as well. The sculpt work is just as impressive, the paint apps are just as impressive, and overall, it looks really sleek. To mount these two together, simply fold up the landing gear on the Delta 7 Starfighter, and then line up this little button here with the hole on the bottom of the Starfighter. And once you do that, you can simply pop it into place. And this is a pretty sturdy hold. You can see here that's not going to fall out or anything like that. And to get it back out, it kind of helps if you give it a little twist, like to the side. That just helps it release from one side at a time and makes it a little bit easier. So you can just like that, and there you go. So overall, this is a really cool little set. It's super detailed, way beyond what I would ever expect to come out of this scale of vehicle, and especially out of this scale of figure. My only gripe here with this is that when you try to set it down when it's linked together, it really can't. Unfortunately, it is just too back heavy with the ship weighted down back here. I wish that they may have included just a small clear plastic stand to fit back here that would allow you to rest it like that. Maybe that'll be something they do in the future, but until then you may have to find a creative way to display this. Possibly you could find a way to like rig this from your ceiling with some string. That could be a really unique way to display ships like this. Despite that though, this is still a very cool little ship. The detail is incredible, like I've said so many times before. I just can't get over it. The Delta 7 is still my favorite, and I love having it in this tiny little, fit in the palm of your hand size spaceship. As I mentioned before, this ship retails for $16. I feel like you get a pretty good value for what it is. I found this one at Target. You can also find these on Amazon. I believe that they're still in stock, so I will try to leave a link down in the description for you if you want to pick one of these up. I'm super stoked that they're doing these prequel sets. I know at Comic-Con this year they announced that they're doing a Republic gunship and several other prequel era ships, so I'm really excited for that. I'm pretty much picking up anything I can get my hands on from this line right now, but primarily I think as time goes on my focus will be geared towards those prequel ships, those Clone Wars ships, the stuff that I really like. I think things like the gunship will also be super cool for toy photography because you could do a lot of forced perspective stuff with those, have them hanging in the background of a shot with maybe 3 3/4 inch figures. It's just going to be really sweet to see what people do with them. But that is where we are going to wrap this review up. I'm really stoked to see what Jazwares does with the rest of this line. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this ship or any of the other ones from this line. Have you picked any of them up? I would love to know your thoughts down below. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening, noon, or night, depending on when you're watching this video. And as always, I'll be sure to catch you all in the next video.